Welcome to season 2 of our child development podcast, where we focus on parenting tips for supporting cognitive development. I am your host for this episode, and my name is Emmanuel Chisalu, and today we have the pleasure, as usual, of speaking with Professor Yamba, an esteemed expert in human capital development, and obviously in today's conversation as well, an expert in child development. Now, for this season, we delve into the crucial aspects of parenting styles and their impact on child's cognitive, emotional, and social growth. Obviously, in our conversation and interaction with Professor Yamba, who's our resident expert in child development, our aim is to provide valuable insights and practical tips for parents to foster their children's development effectively. Professor Yamba, welcome to the Child Development Podcast, recording season number 2.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Certainly has been an exciting journey, and we are still on. And I'm very excited because we are talking about parenting today. You know, we've got lots of mothers and fathers out there.
Yes.
But you see, parenting is another art. You can be a father.
Yes.
You can be a mother. But it's another thing to be a parent. A parent who raised the child to foster cognitive development so that this child grows up into a person who can move things, a person who is a critical thinker, a person who can make things happen, a person who can be a leader. That's what parenting is about. So, those of you who are mothers and fathers, take this seriously. It's not just having children, but you know, it is your responsibility to make them into these human beings who are responsible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, your introductory statement has caught my attention.
Yes.
You can be a father,
Yes.
you can be a mother,
Yes.
but you still cannot be a parent.
Correct.
Interesting. And maybe just to start from that subject matter, obviously,
Yes.
I would want to note the difference, because I feel like if I am a father the way I am, by default, I am a parent. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. You can be a parent, but a bad parent. Remember, I've talked about parenting that fosters cognitive development of a child. Because obviously, you want your child to grow up into a responsible person.
Yes.
A person, you know, who can make things happen.
Yeah.
A person who's a critical thinker.
Absolutely.
Yes. A person who can contribute to the greater society. That is what you as a parent would like your child to be. And so, that is what we call parenting, good parenting. If you're not doing those things, then you're a bad parent.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Yes.
So as we begin the ball rolling, obviously we've been building up, and for those that are following us, we've been building up this conversation on child development from season number 1.
Yes.
All right. Where first of all we had to understand the entire model of child development.
Yes.
We looked at aspect of the first 1,000 days. We looked at brain development.
Yes.
We looked at nutrition.
Yeah.
And obviously now we dive into season number 2.
Yes.
And in episode number 1, our conversation will be centered around parenting styles and discipline in child development.
Correct.
Obviously, now to begin the ball rolling, I would want you to give us an overview of different parenting styles.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
We just know that when you're a parent, you're a parent.
You're a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are different styles, obviously. First of all, when we talk about parenting styles, okay, we refer to the approaches and attitudes that parents use to raise their children.
Okay.
Basically, there are 4 styles. Number 1 is the authoritarian parenting style.
Authoritarian parenting style.
Authoritarian.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2 is authoritative parenting style. Number 3 is permissive parenting style. And number 4 is the uninvolved parenting. So,
please,
let's take each one of those.
Please take us through. I'm learning about this for the first time.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of people out there, especially young people, who are fathers and mothers.
Mothers, yes.
But probably they know very little about parenting. And so we share this information freely to them. Yeah, because we want to build our society into a responsible society.
Yes.
We want to have people who are responsible, people who can be leaders, great leaders.
Yeah.
Yes. So, authoritarian parenting.
Okay.
Now, these parents tend to have strict rules and high expectations, often enforcing obedience through punishment.
Reminds me.
Does that ring the bell?
It reminds me of my parents. Growing up in a strict home environment.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is quite common in our society, where parents think that by enforcing, discipline through punishment, then they raise a child who is well behaved, who is well disciplined, and so on. Well, Emmanuel, while this approach may promote discipline, it can also lead to feelings of fear and resentment in children, potentially hindering their autonomy and self-esteem.
Okay.
So take note as parents.
Yeah.
And especially as young parents. Yeah. That if you take this as your style of parenting, first of all, you are interfering with the development of the cognitive function. In fact, the whole of this topic, the parenting styles that we're talking about, it's in relation to fostering cognitive development in your child.
Okay.
The brain development. Okay?
Yeah.
And of course, we're talking about, the reasoning capacity, the thinking capacity, the understanding capacity, emotions as well as, the executive functions of the brain.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So, if you are a disciplinarian, who is an authoritarian here. Yeah. Many times we call them disciplinarians.
Yes. we gave them all sorts of names.
All sorts of names.
Idi Amin, Rambo, Hitler.
So in fact, what you are doing is, yes, you may achieve what you think this is discipline. This is, a well-behaved child. But in fact, you have done a lot of damage to your child. Because in the future, as they grow up, they just have this low self-esteem. The other one is authoritative.
Okay.
Now, authoritative parents set clear boundaries and expectations, but also nurture warmth, support, and open communication. Okay? So this balanced approach encourages children to develop self-discipline, responsibility, and independence while maintaining a strong parent-child bond.
Okay.
So in other words, authoritative parenting is the style that probably you want to adopt.
Okay.
You certainly want your child to have, this just positive self-esteem.
Yes.
It is very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, as I've already said, you set clear boundaries and expectations.
Yes.
Yes. The child knows, okay, this is a no-go area, this is okay, and so on. But doing it in a warm kind of relationship.
Relationship.
Yes.
Which is very cardinal.
Very, very cardinal.
Okay.
So be warm to your child. Be warm. Always, converse with your child in a positive manner. Remember, I think in one of the episodes, I did mention that the only difference between you and your child is that you arrived on earth earlier
than them.
than them.
But in terms of everything, you're at par.
You're at par. So it is important. Talk to them as though they are your equals.
Yeah.
In fact, they are your equals. So this is the authoritative parenting. You obviously want the child to have the very best environment. You want your child, as they grow up, to be good people, to be responsible people.
Yes.
To contribute to society. I think that is what is our desire, or that must be our desire, all of us.
Yeah.
That is cardinal. The other type is the permissive parenting. Now, permissive parents are lenient and indulgent,
Okay.
often avoiding confrontation and allowing children significant freedom. So these are the parents who pamper the children.
Yeah. Showering them with all gifts.
Showering them with all gifts, and you don't want any confrontation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you allow the child to do what they want to do.
As they please.
As they please. Yeah. And you think, oh, you are the best dad. Yeah. You are the best mom.
Providing anything that they need.
Providing anything. Yeah?
Yeah.
In fact, not what they need, but what they want.
What they want, actually. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, you are doing damage to them. So you must learn to say no. Yes? If they want something, which actually they don't need, you should learn to say no. No. No, sweetheart. Not at this time.
Yeah.
You can't have this. Okay. I came to learn from one scientist who said that, there is an extra vitamin that has been discovered. And this is an N.
An N.
An N, okay. Vitamin.
Yeah, vitamin N.
Vitamin N.
Right.
So I paid very, I said, let me be attentive to this.
Yes.
Yeah, let me pay attention to this. What is this vitamin N?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as he was explaining, and then at the end he said, the N is the no. So you must learn to say no to your child, because that is the best for him or her. So this approach may foster a sense of freedom and creativity, but can also result in difficulties with self-regulation and behavioral boundaries. Exactly. Then the last one is the uninvolved parenting style. The uninvolved parents are typically disengaged and neglectful, providing minimal guidance, support, or supervision.
Okay.
This parenting style can have detrimental effects on children's emotional and social development, leading to feelings of insecurity and low self-worth. Emmanuel, I'm sure we all know what is happening in our society, in many circles of our society. The youths, for example, go to an extent of, insulting elders, using abusive language. Everywhere you go, it's just this language which is
unpalatable language.
Unpalatable language.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this is not coming, into their minds just now. It goes back to the early years of their development. Perhaps, and most possibly, their parents were uninvolved,
Yes.
completely disengaged. Yes. And so children were let free to just
Do as they please.
as they pleased.
Yeah.
As they pleased.
And these parents never paid attention. They were not, simply put, they were not in the lives of their children.
They are not in the lives of their children, correct.
And
And of course, maybe these are parents who most of the time were not even home. Because you see, if you have a child or children, and especially when they're still young, you want to be involved with them. You want to be at home.
yeah,
Don't come late. Don't come home late.
Yeah.
You know, your children probably go to an extent where they don't even know who the father is, who the mother is, because we were never there for them.
you are in a busy world, not doing any business to your children.
Exactly. This is highly dangerous, and hence we do have, you know, these children who grow up into youths, adults, who just become something else.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, we have junkies in our society today.
Repeatedly.
Yes, and we've talked about junkies a
Over
couple
and
of
over.
times.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's a common language. I mean, every day when you
Yes.
step out of the house, you listen
Yeah.
to the news, you're outside on the streets. You know, this one has been attacked by a junkie.
Where do you think they're coming from?
These same homes.
They're coming from homes. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From parents.
from parents. They're coming from parents.
Yeah.
But most possibly, these are parents who are just disengaged, uninvolved. Is that the style of parenting that you want?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So parents out there, and in particular young people,
Yes.
take note. Please take note. We want to have a society that is full of people who are responsible, not full of people who are junkies. And it is you who define
Yes.
what sort of society must be.
Exactly.
It's yourselves, it's nobody else.
Exactly.
It's you who are defining. So, Emmanuel, we are talking practical things here.
Yeah.
We are not talking theories.
Indeed.
Take note.
Yeah. So, Prof, very excited revelations that
Yes.
you have just given us. And I'm now trying to think in which category right now. Of course, my 3-year-old daughter and 9-month-old boy, which sort of parenting style I am currently implementing. But once I do a self-assessment,
Yes.
I'll get back to you with the results.
Yeah, do a self-assessment. In fact, I would like to ask everybody else out there,
Yes.
do a self-assessment.
Assessment.
If you have children, especially young children,
Yeah.
please don't lead them into a direction that will make them become junkies.
Junkies, yeah.
Lead them properly. Okay, you
Yeah.
still have chance. If your children are still under 5, you have chance
Yeah.
to bring them up properly.
Properly.
If you miss that stage, it becomes much, much, much more difficult. The only window that you have, really, where you can make your children become good people, it is that window 0 to 5. Yeah. Remember, we have talked about how elastic the brain is
Yes.
during that period.
Yes.
Yeah, the plasticity
Of the brain.
of the brain.
All right. So, Prof,
Yes.
I think this is a more personal conversation.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned in your earlier session, we talk about real things.
Yes.
We talk about practical things.
Yes.
Not just
yes.
theories.
Not theories at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that for parents who are watching this, they're confused and wondering.
Yeah.
So, oh, I thought maybe being an authoritarian parent is what brings out the best children. Like, because I'm very strict, there's a lot of, more or less like corporal discipline in the household, then I'm raising the best children that are going to be disciplined, focused, committed. But meanwhile, you've raised a critical concern.
Yeah.
The negative effects.
The negative effects, yes, exactly.
Of that parenting style.
Yes,
now,
yes.
From heart to heart, emotions to emotions.
Yeah.
How can parents reflect on their own parenting style? How can they reflect on it? And obviously how it's impacting their children's development. Are there any remedies now that they're learning that, if you are this kind of parent, these are the positives and these are the negative consequences. But for those that are in the extreme, how can they reflect on their parenting style and look at the consequences, and can that change?
I think they are listening to us right now.
Yeah.
They are listening to us right now. And if you are a responsible person, you should start reflecting on your parenting style. Because we are sharing information. Yeah? Information that should change. That should change you. Yeah. That should change your attitude. Because remember, parenting, as we said, is about attitudes.
Yes.
So think about it. Yeah, you've got a child whom probably you think, as in our African culture, is a person who eventually will come and take care of you.
Yes.
Yeah, in your old age. If you want to raise a child who will come and take care of you in your old age, then think about it now. Reflect. What sort of parenting style are you applying? Yes, it's not too late. And in particular, if your child or children are still young. It is not too late. Believe you me, beyond that, if you go beyond 5, 6, 7, 8, you have lost a child. You've lost that person. So the older they grow, the more difficult it becomes to correct the situation. So, yes, reflect. Don't be the kind of person who, when you arrive home, first of all, your children scamper in all directions.
It feels like it's today is Saturday, right? It feels like it's a throwback Saturday, driving back, in time, in history. Just reminds me of our parents during those times.
Yeah, those times. Yes.
You actually celebrate when they're not home.
When they're not home, you start celebrating.
Yeah.
So reflect on that. If you are that type of parent, reflect now. Okay, because you are doing more harm than good. Yeah. Because this is a child who, even when they go to school, yes, they will look like they are well behaved, but you see, you have suppressed their minds. They will not even be able to ask questions. Yeah. They will not be able to ask questions. They can't ask intelligent questions. So they will just be quiet students in class. And we see this a lot. This is very, very common in our country. There are very few students who ask questions. And you see, it's coming from home. So you as a teacher, you are trying to probe and engage these young people so that you can begin conversing. Because, in teaching and learning, you as a teacher, in fact, today it's now clear that as a teacher, it's not about you are not the custodian of all the knowledge, okay? But you are there to stimulate the learners to get engaged. Yeah, so the teaching style of you just pouring things into these young people and then you end it there, is no longer a good story. But it's engaging. That's the learning, yeah? Yeah, you want the children to learn.
To learn.
Yes.
Okay. No, interesting perspective. And obviously, some then would come and argue to say, look, I am a parent and I raised my children more strict. And now look at all of them. They're educated, they're settled, they have got their own families. So can an authoritarian approach to parenting ever be beneficial? And if so, in what context?
Well, as I mentioned, you may achieve the discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, you may achieve the discipline. But, even if they go to school and, they become settled, and we have seen, quite a good number of families where probably most of the children, if not all, they've gone to school, they are now settled. The question is, where are they in terms of contributing to society? Where are they? They're just workers. Yeah, remember we've talked about just being workers.
Workers, yeah.
You're just raising workers.
Yeah.
But we want children who, when they grow up,
Yes.
they become contributors to the society.
Yes.
They are innovators. They're critical thinkers.
They're creators.
They're creators. That's what we want.
Yeah. Adding value.
Adding value to the quality of life
Yes.
of society.
Yeah.
That is cardinal. But when you look at, many of us, who may be coming from those backgrounds of authoritarians,
Military background.
military backgrounds, we may be settled, but really we are just workers. It ends there. Is that what we want?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
We have to go over and above.
We have to go over and above. Remember that as a country, Zambia, obviously our desire is for Zambia to develop.
Yes.
Who will develop Zambia? Isn't it
children.
ourselves?
Yes, ourselves.
Ourselves. Nobody else.
Yeah. Zambians for Zambians.
Exactly. It's ourselves.
It's ourselves.
Yeah. So it means that the way we are raised up, the way we are brought up,
Yes.
matters a lot. Because that is what defines us, whether we are going to be creators, innovators, or just
Simply workers.
simply workers.
Recipients of development.
Recipients of development.
From developed worlds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
So you see, we are connecting now your parenting, the parenting styles with the economic development.
Development, yes.
So we must connect all these dots. And I want people to see that, so this is what I'm contributing to society.
Yeah. Now, my mind is just going round and round, looking at the value chain of what would define as sustainable development.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in as much as we are thinking that the only way to attain sustainable development, economic growth or economic development, is to ensure that you've got billions of dollars where you invest in different, sectors of the economy.
No, it doesn't help you. It's not about having billions or even trillions of dollars. It's not about that. Yeah.
So does it mean that this is the reason why, for instance, when you look at the Western world, most of our friends there in the developed nations, without a single piece of a natural resource,
Yes.
they are more developed, than us today.
We even beg from them.
Yeah. Just the moment when you're driving out of your yard,
Yes.
all you are seeing are a wealthy of resources.
Yes.
Now, when I talk of the wealth of the resources, you drive out, you find there's a population of young people, very energetic.
Yeah.
All right. You've got the abundance of your natural resources, your minerals. And like we've always been discussing, you are in water, but you are thirsty.
You are thirsty.
So this is painting a picture now.
Yes.
Where we've really missed it.
Where we have missed it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, just to enhance what you say, the billions or even trillions of dollars, somebody can give you $1 billion today, and you put it in the bank. But you're a poor man. You are a poor man.
Elaborate.
Because those billions of dollars, I can tell you that within the next day, they will evaporate. Because you don't know what to use those dollars for.
Well,
they just evaporate like steam.
Steam. And it disappears. Yeah. How many people have we seen, Emmanuel, whom we once upon a time say, oh, those are... How many of those have we seen? A lot of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Today they are paupers, and they die paupers. Yeah. So you can have $1 billion in the bank account and yet a poor man. You can have $0 in your account and yet you are a rich man.
The mind.
And it all comes from how you were raised.
Yes.
So parents, remember this. How you raise your child will either be a poor person or a rich person. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So it defines us as a society in Zambia and Africa in general.
It really does.
It does.
So now, Prof, let us look at the impact of parenting styles on child development. Obviously, we've dwelled much on these 4 parenting styles, authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and uninvolved. In our exchange here, you've talked about, scratched a little bit on social skills and also academic achievement. But I would also want you at least to elaborate more how different parenting styles can influence a child's social skills and academic achievement. I want parents out there to learn this and hear more so that they can note how their kind of parenting is influencing their child's or children's social skills development and also academic achievement.
Yeah. Let me say this, that parenting styles significantly influence various aspects of child development, as you have said, including social skills, academic achievement, and psychological well-being. Children raised in authoritative households. Remember, authoritative where, you define the boundaries. Yeah. So there's discipline, there is warmth as well. So you're balancing.
Yeah.
And the child only gets what they need, not necessarily what they want. Okay? So children raised in these authoritative households tend to exhibit higher levels of self-esteem, emotional regulation, and academic success.
From the authoritative parenting style.
Compared to those under these others, the authoritarian, permissive, and the uninvolved. So, and this is because with authoritative parenting style, what really you are fostering is the cognitive development. And I have to keep emphasizing this. It's about the mind development.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And so such children also have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Parents out there, please get to understand this. Adopt the authoritative rather than authoritarian. Don't be an authoritarian parent.
Yes.
Don't be a permissive parent.
Or uninvolved parent.
Uninvolved parent.
Yeah.
You are doing more harm to your child or children. Yeah? Get engaged with your children. Talk to them. Communicate. Yeah? Let them know, what is good, what is not good, and all that. Get engaged. You are the one who is defining the future
Of that child.
of this child. You are the one. And you cannot blame yourself if a child grows into something else, into a junkie or a person who, they may have the discipline, but they can't perform.
Yeah.
You can only blame yourself. You will not blame anyone else. Yeah. And unfortunately, Emmanuel, when you look at our society, many of us, I think, can associate ourselves with probably not authoritative, but authoritarian or these others.
Yeah.
Many of us.
Yeah, many of us. I agree with you. That's where we're coming from anyway.
We're coming from there.
Yeah.
And so we have a society generally whose mindset is fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only now that we're getting exposed to this, literature models that, actually, you need to have a growth mindset.
Yes, exactly.
Right. We're trying. We are really trying.
Yes.
All right?
Yes, we are trying.
But
we are trying.
At the end of the day, we still get back to the same
you see, the unfortunate thing, why we may not succeed 100%.
Yes.
Is because our brains are no longer as flexible as they were.
Yes.
When we were still young. It's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are no longer as elastic as they were.
Yes.
So it becomes difficult. Yeah. We will learn new things, quite okay, and we can be able to do, this and that.
Yeah.
But we will not be as great as we should have been.
Yes.
If we had come from the backgrounds that fostered cognitive development at the time that we were young.
Now, Prof, let us also integrate the aspect of cultural and contextual influences.
Yes.
When it comes to parenting styles.
Yes.
Of course, for instance, in my culture, all right, traditionally is you as a parent must be strict if you want to raise a normal and great child. That's what culture would say. All right.
Yeah.
So, from the angle of cultural norms, how do these norms and also societal expectations shape parenting styles?
Yeah. Well, certainly culture has a big impact on that. The parenting styles are very much influenced by these cultural norms, as you've said, societal expectations, as well as individual beliefs and experiences. Now, obviously, there are cultural differences. We come from different cultures. And these differences in parenting practices can shape discipline strategies, parent-child relationships, and children's developmental outcomes. So that, understanding these cultural nuances is essential for promoting effective and culturally sensitive parenting practices. Yes, in certain cultures, as you have mentioned, they want you to be strict with your child. In fact, I'm not saying that do not be strict. That's not the issue. In fact, all cultures should promote that. But then the strictness in the positive sense.
Okay.
Yeah, in the positive sense. Be authoritative. Yeah, in your own culture. Be authoritative rather than authoritarian. Because it should not matter where you come from. We have different cultures. In our country, there are many ethnic groups, and each ethnic group has its own culture. But whatever culture we are coming from, it is important that our strictness with the children, with raising children,
yes,
is authoritative rather than authoritarian.
Authoritarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or permissive or uninvolved.
Yeah.
So don't be uninvolved. Don't be permissive. Don't just pamper your children.
So now, Prof, when you say don't pamper your children, right now, being a parent that I am today, I grew up in poverty. And so most of the things, I never had them. And then today, when I look at times in the past versus where I am, financially I'm able, exposed to opportunities. And so I feel like, I don't want my children to experience my kind of childhood when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So whenever we go to the mall, when Gabriela screams, "Daddy, buy me that toy," okay, not a problem. I get for her. But are you telling me that such kind of habits or attitudes, responding to every demand that my child places, somehow is detrimental to their growth and development?
You are right on, actually. You are right on. In fact, you are raising a very important point. Many of us come from humble backgrounds. We didn't come from rich families. I think majority of us, in fact, are like that. And so when we grow up and somehow we are now able to provide, and exactly as you said, we tell ourselves, I don't want my children to go through the suffering that I went through. Of course, you don't want your children to go through the suffering. Why should they suffer when you are able to?
Yes.
No. Your children are there to enjoy life. But this is where now your parenting style comes in. Yes, where you are able to provide. But don't fall prey to each and every demand that a child places on you. Daddy, buy me this. Okay, sweetheart. Okay, here you are. Daddy, buy me this. Oh, sweetheart, honey.
That's not an expression of love?
No. You see, you are now practicing what we call permissive parenting style. Remember the vitamin N?
Yes. Learn to say no.
It's a very important vitamin. It's a very important vitamin. Yes, let your child enjoy your warmth.
Please.
That is good.
Give us a prescription of that after the conversation.
Let the child enjoy your warmth, but at the same time, remember that you must... you must combine that warmth with the discipline, strictness. Because so in other words, you have set boundaries. The child can only go so far.
Yes.
Beyond that, no. Okay.
So now, you've talked about setting boundaries for discipline. So why is positive discipline important? And of course, we're talking about cognitive development, also supporting child development. So now when we integrate the aspect of parenting styles, obviously from your recommendation as an expert in human capital development and child development, you are for authoritative parenting style. So when we look at now positive discipline techniques, are you able to share some of the key principles of what constitutes positive discipline techniques?
Indeed. In fact, positive discipline can only come from an authoritative parenting style.
Okay.
It will not come from any other, but it's authoritative. And, this kind of discipline focuses on teaching and guiding children's behavior rather than punishing them.
Okay. Teaching, guiding children's behavior rather than punishing them. Oh, great.
So don't punish your children. If you are to punish your child, and maybe let me just be a bit clear here.
Yes.
By punishment here, I mean harsh punishment. For example, even beating your child, throwing bad words at them, that kind of thing, shouting at them. That's not positive discipline. Okay, you are doing harm. You are interfering with the cognitive development.
All right.
Okay, so you have to use this positive discipline, and of course there are a number of strategies. To do that, you set clear expectations.
Okay. Set clear expectations.
Set clear expectations.
Okay.
Offer praise and encouragement. When a child does something good, praise them. Okay. And encourage them to keep doing good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some kind of motivation.
Motivation. So you are motivating them.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, you need to be careful, Emmanuel. You need to be careful on this praise. And I think we'll talk about it in another episode. Yeah. Be careful when you praise. Yeah. So don't praise to an extent where now a child thinks that, I'm the only genius around here.
I'm the most happening. I'm better off than my siblings.
So just be careful.
Yeah.
Okay? And also fostering open communication and problem-solving skills.
Oh, great.
We've talked about problem-solving skills many times, and we'll keep talking about it. Yeah. Let the child, expose your child to problem-solving. Yeah. That is the discipline. That's the positive discipline that we are talking about. So these are some of the strategies. So positive discipline approaches promote mutual respect. Yeah. There'll be respect between you and your child. Remember again, the difference between you and your child is that the only difference, you landed on earth earlier than them. So have respect for them. And so create this environment where there's a mutual respect between themselves and yourself. Cooperation and healthy parent-child relationship. This is what many parents in our society fail to do. Because they think that these are just children. They're not our equals.
Yes.
But you forget that, in fact, in the next few years, and it's not long, by the way, when they now become people that you rely on. Yeah? Because you are now growing old. They're now taking your space.
Yes.
They are now the ones with the energy. Not so?
Yeah.
And they're the only ones who can make things happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are the most lucrative demographic dividend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll be reaping shares out of them.
Yes. Absolutely.
Interesting. And obviously, from what you've shared, we've talked about some of the key principles of positive discipline, and you've also shared strategies that can foster better parent-child relationship. Now, someone would say that is from an ideal situation. All right. But reality, maybe there is little to no room of such kind of strategies to be implemented.
Yeah.
But as obviously as we zero down on our conversation,
Yes.
okay, it's also important to look at both sides of the coin. So we've looked at the perfect environment, how we can raise a fully fledged human being growing up from the 0 to 5 years to where they are through effective parenting styles. And from your recommendation, which I'm now going to adopt, I didn't know, but of course I'll do a self-assessment. But so far, the bias is towards authoritative parenting. Okay. Now, I want you to share some of the common challenges that parents face or might face trying to balance discipline with warmth and also understanding. More especially in today's generation of the children that we're raising.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not an easy thing. This is why, in my opening remarks, I said we have a lot of mothers there and fathers.
Yeah.
But you see, when it comes to parenting, it's another issue. So parenting is not easy. It's not easy. There are challenges. You've already mentioned it. First of all, just to balance this kind of discipline that you want in your child. But at the same time, with warmth, where your child does not have this low self-esteem. It's a challenge in itself. It's not an easy thing to balance between those two. It is a challenge. And of course, managing conflicts and power struggles. Obviously, there are conflicts that come about in your home between yourselves and children. Oh yes,
those are normal. Like
they're
this
normal.
evening, I had a conflict with my daughter, 3 years old. Absolutely. Yeah. So those are challenges that you must learn to deal with. So you yourself, as a parent, you just have to have this open mindset. The growth mindset, which growth
looks at
mindset.
Growth mindset. Which looks at life in a broader manner. Okay, and of course the power struggles and also adapting discipline strategies to meet the evolving needs of children at different developmental stages. Your child, they are born. They'll become 1 year olds, 2 years, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They become youths, adults. At each stage, the needs are different. Yes, at each stage. This is where parenting becomes exceedingly difficult. Generally, you will release according to international norms. At the age of 18, then children are adult enough to be on their own. Okay? They can even get married at that age. But from 0 to 17, they are children. And so much of that time, they're stuck with you. And at each of the stages, it's a different ballgame. First of all, you are dealing with the under fives. They will go beyond that. From 6 to 9 to 12. Then they enter the teens. They become 13 to 17. Emmanuel, all these, the needs are different. And you have to find a way as a parent of how to deal with them. So all these are challenges, but as a good parent, using the authoritative parenting style, you'll be able to manage the situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting perspective. So now, Prof, having said all this that we've shared in the conversation, and you sharing critical, effective, implementable, and also practical strategies on how parents who somehow, if for instance, many of us, if we sit down to reflect on what kind of style we are in, and majority of us, we find that we're either authoritarian, we are permissive, or uninvolved.
Yes.
And now there's this process of switching from any of the three undesirable parenting styles to get into the desirable zone.
Yes.
All right. Is there any support, all right, in developing such kind of effective discipline strategies? And when I say that, what are resources or programs that are available to help young parents such as myself, and obviously for my production crew as well, to develop more effective discipline strategies that are responsive?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
And I think as a nation, we need to think through this. There must be parents' educational programs.
Parents' educational programs.
Exactly. Programs, it could be NGOs, but the government itself can also come up with programs where, you know, as young parents, you go and learn what parenting is all about. In churches, you know, we are a Christian nation as Zambia, and there are a lot of groupings within our church circles.
Yeah.
There can be groups specifically to support young parents, those who are bringing up, you know, young children. I believe that these programs are critically important. We must begin talking about, you know, these parent education programs.
Yes.
They are important because it's the development of our own society, our own country, that we are concerned about. Because we know each and every individual in this country on earth comes from parents. Yes, comes from parents. Every society, the unit of every society is a family.
Yes.
And therefore supporting parents on parenting is very important.
Very, very important.
Extremely important. So I really would urge our leaders at all levels, political leaders, church leaders, NGO leaders, including the private sector. Let us have programs where we can support the young parents, so that you know, they can be guided. Yeah, they just need that support.
Indeed.
And that way, you know, these mothers and fathers will now become better parents. Yeah, to support the cognitive development of their children. So I'm always getting back to cognitive development
of
because
their children.
that is where it matters
The most.
the most.
Indeed. Prof, in your final words, we've tackled this very important subject matter. Season 2, episode number 1.
Yes.
Parenting styles and discipline in child development.
Yes.
If you had an opportunity to punch in the last war words to young parents such as myself, what would they be?
This is a call to action, eh?
Yeah, the call to action. I love that.
All parents are called upon.
Yes.
All parents are called upon to adopt parenting styles that help children in their cognitive development. And obviously,
Yeah.
we know
Yes.
that it is the authoritative parenting style that will help your child to grow up in the person that you really desire, that you admire. So all of us are called upon. And in fact, I call upon, again, leadership at all levels.
Yes.
The national, and all levels of our structures in the country. So our political leaders, the church leaders, the NGOs, and everyone, to be interested in this. Because remember, it is the future of our nation. Parenting is the future of our nation. It's like that. Parenting. Just parenting. If we want the nation to be a junkie nation, it is ourselves. That's our choice.
Yes.
It is our choice. But certainly, I don't think that anyone wants, Zambia to be
A junkie nation.
A junkie nation.
Absolutely not. No.
So, call to action again. Everybody must become interested. Let us support the young parents.
Yes.
So that they raise their children in a proper manner. Everybody must be interested.
Yeah.
Please, people out there, let us all be interested. Thank you.
Wow. What a powerful call to action, ladies and gentlemen. You have been watching the Child Development Podcast, season number 2, and we've been conversating on parenting styles and discipline in child development. I know, parents, you joined us in listening to this conversation, and you and I, we have a huge responsibility to re-evaluate our parenting style to ensure that it is responsive, more effective towards the development of our children, that we're going to be raising a generation of resourcefulness, powerful, critical thinkers, innovators, and creators who are going to transform the trajectory of our sustainable development and also economic growth and development of this great nation that we call Zambia, which is blessed with the abundance of everything that we need to be the most prosperous nation on this planet. Until next time, goodbye. My name is Emmanuel Chisalu, your host for the Child Development Podcast, joined by Professor Yamba, our resident expert when it comes to human capital and child development. Thank you.
Thank you.